Ricardo, I know you have like a few like secondary and tertiary lists you want to share as well.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
let's waste no time. Ricardo, you kick things off.
Sure. So let's start off with online videos, essays. The
Right.
what I consider the best. Right, these are like about 5 or 6 of my favorite for the year. These are the ones that just stick with me. Just like really good. Actually, sit down and make the wrongs on it, and just really really solid stuff as it is. So, yeah, like to start with these online videos. So number one, and this is probably one of the better for the year. Not my personal favorite, but it really stuck with me. Jenny Nichols, her Star Wars experience when she did the whole online
Oh,
yes, you know what it is.
yeah,
um,
yeah. The beast
she
was
basically
it.
she basically did she went to Disney Star Wars. They had like a ride, but it's like a whole event day thing, and it was super expensive. And she just ripped this thing apart as to how terribly ran it was and how much of a mess the whole thing was. But it was such a
Wow.
like
Huh.
incredible insight into
Genuine.
it. And what she said is that if you're willing to pay the money and it's a family thing, it works. It kind of works, but because it's so
Mm-hmm.
expensive and it just don't come together particularly well. But it was such a like a it's one of these Icarus fly close to the sun things, right? Because it
Right.
had a lot of good intentions in terms of the production, but just didn't come together, and it's just one of those things that just too much, and they couldn't handle it, and it just implode. And her whole ordeal is a harrowing tale. I really strongly recommend this. It's really really solid stuff. I dig the hell out of it. This was really good, hilarious, and really good. But she just breaks it down and does a good job with it. And yeah, oh you know that she doing a good job is because Disney kind of come after her. Like it have a whole story around a story. It had a story after story. It had a bunch of like interviews around it. She was interviewed because of it, and this thing was just amazing. Like I think Corey Coleman in an interview, and thing is like it was real wild. So this was hard, but it was just such a harrowing story, Dread. Like it was just kind of wild as
Wow.
hell. But yeah, this was worth your time. I really recommend it. Talking about that Star Wars experience in Disney and in Disneyland, just weird. All right, so number two, uh, Kojima and the real Metal Gear. This is done by Good Blood of Second Wind. Second Wind is the new channel that take over when all the Escapist people leave. Escapist kind of gone through, but Second Wind they start their own thing called Second Wind, and they not only they're usually known for putting out reviews, but they put out video essays. And this guy did a great job of breaking down Kojima's mindset about and his reflection and worldview through the Metal Gear franchise. There's no secret. I'm a massive fan of Kojima and the Metal Gear franchise, especially. And this was just such a
Mhm.
great like love letter to that. It was just a fantastic put together, and just really, 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 really heartfelt, but really interesting, like in really engaging, fascinating stuff. And yeah, I just dug the hell out of this. This was just excellent. Number three. So this kind of take a tie, but one of them jump the other. Yeah, my boy FD Signifier. He basically just kind of run through the whole situation involving Kendrick and Drake in a video, this massive video. I think it's 3.5 hours called
It is.
what the culture feeling. Um, yeah, he just kind of run through the whole battle between Kendrick and Drake, but mostly history of the two of them, history of hip hop, how things get to this point. Just slowly but surely, step by step, getting it through the whole thing. And yeah, it would again long as hell, but worth your time, in my opinion. It really, really works. And then just yesterday from the time it is recorded, he drops another, and this is also not really tied necessarily to this one, but it also just a general kind of a referendum on hip hop itself. It's bigger than Diddy. This guy just goes through the whole culture in and around hip hop. And it's not it doesn't focus too much on PDD himself, but it focuses on basically the moral hazard that could create somebody like P Diddy, right? Yes, it's this whole culture and whole culture, culture of sex and violence that hip hop like inculcate. Why hip hop didn't need to be like this, especially in the early 2000s and when millennials were growing up and coming up, and he just goes through the whole thing, and this both of them is kind of ties together really well. Yeah, this dude is putting out some nice stuff. And then the last but not least, this is my probably personal favorite documentary. Half-Life 2's 20th anniversary documentary. It's the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2, probably one of my favorite games ever. And the people at Valve decided to put out a full documentary on that. They did this for Half-Life 1, and that was great. this is even better. They just do this whole rundown as to why this game works, all the design decisions they make, all the pitfalls, like when they got hacked or what they talk about with that. And they just borrow from other. I remember seeing other documentaries back in the days. I forget the name of it, but it had a documentary series on, I think, on G4 back in the days that did a rundown of Half-Life, and they kind of borrow from that too. Like when they got hacked, for example, like how they save certain things involving lawyers, and how they could get a hostile takeover by other companies, and they just go through that. And this was so good. And it just kind of inspired me to start doing some writing for something that I'm surprised they never brought out. Half-Life 3. Right?
Okay.
It's kind of shocking. It's kind of shocking that Half-Life 3 was never made or never done. They start talking about a couple things with Half-Life 3, a couple ideas that they had, and then why it got scrapped, how come it didn't go forward, what going on there, and there's that. So yeah, there's 5 or 6 top online videos for the year. That's my first list.
All right, great. And dumb question: all of them are available right now on YouTube, or you have to go to a
Yep.
specific? Okay. Okay.
Nope. All of them on YouTube. Every one of these on YouTube.
Lovely.
You can find all these on YouTube, I'm pretty sure that. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, number thing, my top games of the year. So
Nice.
yeah, there's about 5 or 6 games that are just worth my time, and I just dug the hell of it. Number 1, Indica. This game is just so weird and creepy, but really, really good and well done. Just one of my favorite nice conceits of the year. It's just clever. It visually it reminds me a little bit of Persepolis, if you remember that. That visually at least.
On the movie, yeah.
the
black and
animated
white
movie.
stuff. I love that
Yeah,
movie
animated
actually.
movie. Yeah, that was based off of the graphic novel. Yeah, that. But this just does this really own weird thing with involving that. Number 2, this was a little bit of a disappointment, but I thought I would have enjoyed more, but a little bit of disappointment, but it's still good. The sequel of one of my favorite games ever, Senua 2. Senua Hellblade is one of my favorite games ever. It's just Senua Sacrifice is one of my favorite games ever. Just such a harrowing thing. This one good too, but not as good. But I'll say it's like Portal and Portal 2, right? It's still good, like, but not as good as the first, and it just pulls together an interesting narrative and conceit. And I know a lot of people like knocking it, but I dig it for what they're trying to go for and do. And a lot of it works for the most part. Number 3, Felvidic.
All right.
Yeah, there's this weird animation style, and it's such an offbeat, off-kilter kind of conceit involving like this knight and his medieval things involving like a love story. It just go all over the place, but it's a nice little RPG, but it feels like a kind of old like 90s kind of top-down, not really top-down, we call it isometric view type RPG type thing, but then the gameplay just go into like this, it just jump into the, when it jump into the kind of the Pokemon style or the Dragon Warrior style kind of battle system, and it's just so weird and offbeat. Like, I totally recommend this. If you want weird offbeat, it is up my alley. And when I saw this, somebody was reviewing it, and I'm like, oh shit, this is so weird and cool though. But yeah, I dig the hell of it. This last one, no, not last one, sorry, one more and then another, then last one. Freak Hunter. Again, another offbeat, off-kilter. Don't let anybody say that how the whole system is flat trash or anything like that. No, it still have voices out there. Just not making money, but it have still weird creative voices out there, and this is up there with that. It's a weird I think it's a shooter, I think, and it just strange and bizarre, and I totally recommend it. And then last but not least, the dominant game for the year, and it's not even a game, it's a mod for a game. Fallout London. Fallout London was so good. These people, they need a round of applause, and they're still putting out material for it. They basically just made it basically is Fallout 4.5. It scratches the itch that people wanted for a while. It kind of wild that this come out before. Fallout Miami, because Fallout Miami was being hyped long before this. I even knew this existed. It kind of wild that this came out before a Fallout for New Vegas, because I thought somebody would have just remake New Vegas with Fallout 4's combat. Nope. This just came out. It just they stick it through, finish your project. They have plans for making their own games. But what they did with this is just basically they did Fallout London. It's London, and they just do a bunch of much like how the Fallout franchise does a great job of playing on Americana and American culture and American hegemony, and flips a lot of that conceit, especially with respect to the 1950s, the atomic cafe stuff. This does this, but with British and Commonwealth culture, and so it's all kind of little simple things, like little small things, like characters humming Kitchener, or you're hearing like they make a reference to I don't know, Paddington or something like that. Like it's just all these, references or old nuclear things or I forget the name of that old animation with the couple who died from nuclear radiation. I forget the name of the animation.
Oh,
It's that
oh
one-
gosh, when the something
When the wind
That's
blows.
what you're talking
When the wind
about.
blows.
Yeah, where the wind blows.
When the wind blows, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, when the wind blows. Right.
Okay.
They'll make reference to that. He was like, oh shit, that's a when the wind blows reference in the corner there. But then it have a whole story on its own where they're fighting against the government and Westminster and it have a whole group that represent Camelot, but have a group that represent like old references to old gangs back in the 1950s or skinheads or punks and so on and so forth. And yeah, and then it plays and plays like Fallout 4, which is like still really excellent combat. I mean, the only thing that hurt Fallout 4 was the core story. Everything around Fallout 4 was good except for the actual core story. Core story sucked ass, but everything else I thought was okay. What they did was they just kind of scratched the itch by giving all the elements from Fallout New Vegas, which is most people's favorite game in the franchise, and put it with Fallout 4 combat. They put in new weapons, and they just tell a really good story about a bunch of great companions. They have of course, number one reason why this is great. They have a doggo called Churchill. Awesome. Yeah, this was my favorite gaming experience for the year. It's not done because they are here to point out some DLC soon enough. And yeah, it was free. Pretty much once you own Fallout 4, you could get it a free mod. It's like wow, all this work, and they put it out, and it's just so much care, and it still have a lot of like technical issues. Like look, it's a Fallout game, so yeah, expect that. But they fix a lot of those over time. Not a big problem. It had some crashes and some load time problems. That wasn't a big deal. I was willing to supplant that, to push forward. Once you can do that, you're fine. Good storytelling, great beats, and I dug the hell out of this. Yeah, so this is my number one game of the year, Fallout London. Even though it's not a game, it's a mod, but it's still pretty damn awesome.
Nice.
But it's like a tiny team. It's like I don't know. It's like a team of about 7 or something like that. It's insane.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I was just hearing about Fallout London, and I was confused because I didn't know it was a mod. So I was hearing everyone talking about, oh my god, Fallout London's so good. But whenever I would go
But
look
like
for
okay, so if you want to get it, what you do is you go on you could go on GOG and download. You could buy. Well, you had to probably buy Fallout 4. Go on GOG, buy
Okay.
Fallout 4, and then you could just get Fallout London and it'll supplant the
Oh, wow.
mod. The mod will just jump on it. So you're loading Fallout 4 one time. It's using all the assets and stuff from that game. So that's it. It's just like normal mod stuff. But it does it.
Wow.
I mean, it was just really, really, really good. Like just truly excellent. Like you just can't believe that this is a mod, Jared. Because basically it's like Fallout 4.5. That's it. That is the only thing.
So at this moment, let's talk about some best TV shows, right? So I will
Oh.
save mine for last, or unless CC, if you have any one or two shows that you want to mention, I guess you could leave that for last. We could get to you last. Sorry. Yeah. So Ricardo, you kick things off. I will jump in after you, then Tracy, and then CC. So yeah, Ricardo, take it away. What were your favorite TV shows of 2024?
Okay, sure. Agatha All Along.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Star Trek Prodigy.
What's
Great.
this? What season are we on? Remind me with Prodigy again.
I think it's only 2 seasons. It ended.
Oh, it ended.
ended.
Oh, okay.
It ended.
Wow. All
It
right.
got cancelled. I don't think it's coming back here.
Right.
That got cancelled too?
Yeah, that got cancelled. It ended. Well, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think it's done.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was the last season. But they had a kind of cliffhanger to the ending, so whatever. And then of course another Star Trek Lower Decks, right?
Right. Season
Live
5.
finals.
Mhm,
Okay.
Yeah.
Tree Body Problem.
Right. Okay.
Fallout.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, the 2 Superman and Lois, and then Superman, team cartoon, good.
Right. My adventures with Superman. Yeah. It's second season was solid. It was. Yeah.
Did we have a He-Man this year, right? We had a He-Man this year?
We did very early on this year. Yeah. I really
Right,
dug that
right.
second season.
Right.
I still prefer the
He-Man.
first one, but the second one was a solid follow-up.
Kite Man, hell yeah. That's pretty good.
Yes, I
Hello,
remember you really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
Kite Man. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Everybody still hates Chris.
Yep.
Fun.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Terminator Zero.
Okay.
Hard.
Nice. Yeah. That was cool. That was cool. Yeah.
Good to hear.
Miss Sun, Mrs. Smith was this year, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Right. So right, that is kind of the top 5. We kind of think we were the lucky ones. Pretty good.
Yep. I checked it out. Really enjoyed it.
100 Years of Solitude.
Right.
I haven't seen
Right.
that one.
Right. So we get into the kind of the top stuff. You know what coming now? X-Men 97.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They cooked. Oh,
Okay.
they cooked. Let's
They
admit
did.
that.
They did. Yep.
Right. Right. I
Right.
mentioned the sympathizer, right?
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Right,
Sympathizer.
sympathizer.
All right. Mhm.
Yeah, that was hard. This thing with Marlon James show and now Superman might get Millie Black.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good.
So you watched the entirety of the season, right?
Yeah, watch it out. Yeah, right.
right, okay.
Right. Dune Prophecy.
Right. Nice.
Oh,
Haven't jumped on board, but
Great.
yep. I'm glad you
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Mhm.
Secret Level.
Right.
That's
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
you covered.
Remember
Yes. Mhm.
Dream Productions. This was amazing.
I was waiting for
Loved
you
it.
to drop that. I was
Good?
like, where's it?
Right. Yeah. Dream Productions. This was pretty damn good. Amazing. Really good. Penguin.
Uh huh.
They cooked.
They
And then, of course,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then number one for the year. No surprise. Shogun.
Shogun. Yep. Yep.
And I have to mention it. Go watch it this morning. What If season 3? Pretty good.
All right.
Not great. Good. Worth mentioning. Indictment for TV. So that is it.
Okay.
Yeah. So TV.
Right.
Wrapping up that.
All right. So I will just do just run through honorable mentions here, right? Squid Game season 2. Yeah,
Right.
like they came back strong with the season here, man. I'm not gonna front, they did, right? Mr. McMahon, really fascinating
right.
docuseries into the life and times and career of that guy. Everybody Still Hates Chris season 1. Really
Right.
enjoyed that. We Were the Lucky Ones. Thank you for putting me onto that, Ricardo. That was great.
Yep.
Star Wars: The Bad Batch season 3,
Right.
final season. Really ended things off strongly, in my opinion. Agatha All Along.
Yeah.
The Boys season 4.
Right. I forget I was this year.
Yeah. Invincible season 2.
I forget what I said. Yeah, I forget. That was on my other phone.
Okay. I like that excuse. It was on my other phone. Right.
Yeah, I forget. I had a list. I forget to copy the list to come before the crash last.
Dude, Google Docs.
Yeah, for real.
Right? In 2025, Google Docs, right? That's what I use, right? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? And, I have to mention that, out of our review, that will be myself, you, Ricardo, and Tracy. Yeah, we had a nice little, this little back and forth on Facebook, about our take on it, which was entertaining on its own, but I'll just leave it at that, right?
Right.
2 more titles. Event Staples Show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I do hope we get a second season or a second half of the season, but yeah, they really kick things off really, really strongly with this one, right? And last but not least, right, True Detective, Night Country.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I forget
the
that.
series
That
came
was on
back.
my other
Yeah, the
phone.
series came back with it. I mean, it will never match the excellence that was the first season, but this one came close to, in my opinion, right? So, top 10 list, best TV shows, right? So number 10, season 2 of House of the Dragon. Not
Nice.
as great as the first season though, but they really kept the momentum going with it. I really dug what they did there, right? Number 9, Star Trek Discovery, season 5.
Okay.
Final season.
Right.
Yes. I really dug this season, and I really love this show as well.
I was underwhelmed. No,
You
I didn't
were?
put it on my list. Yeah, I was underwhelmed. I was kind of disappointed with this final season, to be honest. So I just didn't put it.
All right.
Again, it's a show that I'll admit it's for casuals and for relatively new people. But yeah, I was pretty underwhelmed with this final season.
Well, I knew maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. But I mean, I know that there's more that I need to watch. Like, don't get me wrong, I know it. But for what the show was set out to do, I think that they pull it off well.
Compared to Lower Decks, where it just really stick with me, this one didn't stick with me. But yeah, all right.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Number 8,
Right.
Fallout season 1. This was a surprise to me though, and as somebody who never played the games, this really introduced me to the world of Fallout. Boy, and what a fascinating world this show. Fallout is. Is really fascinating.
What I like about this is I just have so much hope for other good gaming stuff now. It's like, all right, we get this, and we set up Halo's bullshit,
Yeah.
but this was pretty damn good, and it just gives me so much hope for future things, mainly Mass Effect, right?
Oh, yeah.
I just really don't want them to fuck up Mass Effect. It's like, that is it.
Oh, but that's before we move on. So a Mass Effect TV show is really gonna happen, or is it still like?
I don't know what's going on exactly, but we're hearing good scuttlebutt green light stuff. So, but I haven't been super following it to know if we're getting one for sure. But if they absolutely nail this, they could totally do the Mass Effect show now. That's my point.
Okay.
That's all I want.
Right. Okay.
That's all I want.
Right. Number 7, Arcane, season 2, final
Right.
season.
Right.
Yes, it
Right.
did feel like 2 seasons smushed into one though, but this is still probably one of the best animated shows I would say ever made though. Just every
Yep.
frame of this though is just like a work of art for me though, and just the effort put in this, right? You just talk about video game adaptations. Yeah, this is also one of the best video game to film adaptations I would say ever made in my opinion, right? It's just that we could have gotten a third and final season, man, but I mean, we got a second one, and yeah, they went out in high fashion, but we could have still gotten a third season, in my opinion, right? Anywho, number 6, Superman and Lois, season 4,
Nice.
final season. Ended off
Yeah,
great.
they cooked.
They really cooked
They
with that one.
cooked.
That final I think not a montage.
Yeah.
That final sequence though will go down as one of the most impactful moments I would say in Superman media. Like
Yes.
just the emotional weight of that was like, wow, that really went there with that, right? Number 5, you really need to use Google Docs, Ricardo. Batman, Cape Crusader, season 1.
Right. Okay, here's the thing with that, right? So that was on my list and I loved it then, but the more I think about it, it's kind of dropping my mind. So but I would I get honorable mention.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. No, I mean, all right. So as a first season, I thought that they kicked things off. Just very well, though, in my opinion, right? It will not be as great as Batman the animated series. We know that, right? But as far as
right.
like a spiritual successor to that, though, I thought that they nailed it very well, right? So yeah, that's why I had to put it on number 5. Number 4, The Lord of the Rings of Power, season 2, boy.
Nice.
Yeah, boy.
Nice.
They ramp things up even more with this, boy. The epic scope and scale of this is there. The twists and turns just kept me on edge, though. And then, yeah, where everything just stopped off is like, yes, season 3, bring it on. Speaking of number 3, X-Men 97. Yeah, boy. They cook with our one. They took us back to Saturday
got a
mornings. Yes, that episode 5. People's like, what? Why, Gambit? Why? But outside of that, though, because I mean, it's comic book stuff, so I guesstimated that he could come back anyway. But yeah, though, it just took us back to the glory days of X-Men, right? But still updating the formula, modernizing it. You know what I mean? Maturing it as well, but still keeping that essence of of the greatness that was, the 90s X-Men animated series, right? Yeah, it's a show that we hear about, like, wait, 97, you're really gonna do a season 6 or whatever it is of this? And, like I say, they cooked, right? So yeah, not surprising, your number 1 and 2 is my number 1 and 2, right? So number 2, The Penguin.
Yep.
Yes. Fantastic miniseries though. Great performances, especially from, Colin Farrell as the Penguin though. Just a great crime drama series though. You know what I mean? Just
As in,
fantastic.
Who knew Oedipal Oscom could work, right?
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. You know what I mean? Like The Sopranos in Gotham City. Yes, it worked. It actually worked, right? So yes, no surprise. Number 1 is season 1 of Shogun. Yes, boy.
Yep.
Talk about making this grand, epic cinematic series. Right? Like I'm watching this, and I remember mentioning this in my review though. Like I would love to see this like as some sort of like Criteria Collection re-release, so you see it like in black and white, so it looks like something out of some like 50s Akira Kurosawa film or something like that. Like I would just love to see that, like that whole series like look like that, right? But yeah, this was just impressive across the board though, from the music to the acting to the cinematography to even that title sequence though. It's just fantastic across the board though. No wonder that show won the amount of Golden Globes. I think, well, either Emmys or Golden Globes. I can't remember right now. But yeah, it won some awards though. But yeah, hands down, that is the best show of 2024, right? And I'm happy that we're getting a second season because yeah, if you remember in my review, I thought it was going to be a mini series, right? So when it ended, I was like, wait, that's the end? No. But then they said, oh, season 2 is coming. Like, whew, right? So it was not Acolyte situation, right? If you know, you know. But yeah, Shogun, hands down, best TV show of 2024. So, Tracy, do you have a list at all? I should say, as far as best TV shows go.
I do have a list, actually. I have a list, and there were things that I forgot until you guys started talking. I was like, oh, right, X-Men 97 was this year. That was hilarious. But I have a top 10 list that I'm going to go through with you guys. My honorable mention, of course, is Squid Game, because I just finished it like yesterday after like most of the list here was already put together, and I realized I needed to take something out. So Squid Game is my honorable mention. Deeply sublime. I'm waiting to see them give us a season 3 to wrap up certain pieces of storyline, but in terms of the actual show, it was very good. I liked it a lot. So my top 10 is a mix between network television and streaming platforms who have pissed me off for this 2024, but still we'll talk about that at a different time. So number 10 is NCIS Origins, because for all intents and purposes, the backstory of Gibbs actually, like when he was young, and like how he joined NIS and then became into NCIS and that kind of story. It was one of those things that I wasn't sure we needed, as like we already have seen enough flashbacks of Gibbs, so there's no need for that. But it actually turned out to be pretty cool. It's a bit darker than NCIS. It has a kind of a Criminal Minds finish without necessarily the blood and gore of Criminal Minds. So I have that as number 10. So number 10 is NCIS Origins. Number 9 is Chaos, which annoys me that we're not getting any kind of thing with that. Chaos was pretty cool, and I expected to get a little bit more out of Chaos, and thank you, Netflix. 8 is Three Body Problem. 7, Rings of Power.
Nice.
7 Rings of
Yeah, 7 Rings of Power. I see what you did there.
7 Rings of Power. 6 is Agatha All Along. Agatha All Along, I started off Agatha All Along later than everybody else, because I knew that there was meant to be a continuation. So right after this, we know that there's supposed to be a story about vision quests. I said, I'm going to get into all of it. But horror, like the deeper dark sides of the horror scene, I was like, I don't know if I really need this. But the story was solid, and it was very good. So 6 is Agatha All Along. Number 5, The Penguin.
All right.
The Penguin was brilliant, and I am glad that they didn't kill Sophia's character. I'm glad they didn't kill Sophia. So
Agreed.
And I just want to put this out here, even though the Batman Part 2 is not coming out until 2027.
Yeah, he has a big postponement again, Jordan. Like, what? That real while, though. That real time to that whole year, though. That real time.
Wasn't 100%, so that's fine. But what works for me is Reeves had already said that they wanted to play with more characters within that world. So now you get a chance to, not only if you wanted to have a season 2 of Penguin, but it means why not give me a Selena Kyle story? Or, you could play into any of the random bits and pieces you want to play in.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
My dream idea is to give her a Selena Kyle story, and we get basically make it be heat means bound. Like, just give me that. Like, that's a crime script right there. I like it. Yeah,
I like it. So yeah, number 5 was The Penguin. Number 4 is Slow Horses, season 4.
Okay, nice.
Haven't started on that yet. I know I have a boy, Gary Oldman.
Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah.
Gary Oldman plays the most curmudgeon kind of leader, and like he's always drunk. And I mean, Slow Horses is absolutely brilliant. And
I think that was really good.
So number 4, Slow Horses. Number 3, Superman and Lois.
Of course.
That show did something that, and I'm very annoyed because I know they had like plans for a whole 5, 6, 7 seasons or whatever it is like that, and then here we are. So Superman and Lois, number 3. Number 2, all right, so my number 2 here is The Acolyte, and I specifically put number 2.
Okay.
Sorry, I love the fact that you put it as number 2.
I have it there as number 2. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Let me tell you what my problem with The Acolyte is. The problem with The Acolyte is Lucasfilm and fandom, because I say this, the one thing that I had with The Acolyte in terms of pacing, I always felt like it could have been pushed a little bit further. It could have been a little bit tight.
For me, it's half a story, It's half of an alright story.
It really
is. My problem. My point is my worst, because it's like this half a story. It's not finished.
No, here's the thing, like I get that you wanted to stretch out a thing, and I give you the space to basically be able to stretch it out. But what aggravates my whole soul, and it is one of the reasons why I still have it here on this list, is because like Acolyte was what we asked for in terms
Yeah.
of we're always asking as a fandom, please give us something new. Please give us something new. Please give us something new. All right. You always hear people griping about why are we still going back to Vader? We have
Right.
gone either 100 or is either 100 or 1,000 years into the high before when the High Republic was still going like strong and everything was a little bit better to actually show you how this thing worked, how the Force is interpreted to other different cultures. And you're going to tell me that I have to go online and hear people saying things like, there's no fire in space. How it could have fire
Right,
in
yeah, yeah.
space?
Nitpicky
Suddenly
bullshit.
you're worried about fire. Suddenly you're worried about like I remember one YouTube reactor was talking about like how she said things like I'll see you in hell. How you could reference hell, and I'm like,
Oh,
you
God.
literally just watched Empire. Like that's a thing. Like Han Solo says that I'll see you in hell when he goes out
Yeah.
looking for Luke. The amount of absurdist stupidity and ridiculousness and racist undertones that I have seen with this show did not get the chance to fully bloom the way that it was supposed to.
Right.
And so now
Look,
we
well,
have a
sorry
really nice
to cut you there, but look, even Amanda Stenberg had to stop what she doing and do a rap song, you know. Nobody asked her to do it to her, but she just do it because she was pissed because of how people was responding to her being in the show. I mean, come on, leave Amanda alone. Like, I mean, you know.
I feel for this show because it is what we kept asking for. Now, and here's my fun thing. Now there's a show going on right now, Skeleton Crew,
Right.
which I saw the trailer and the trailer looked brilliant. I haven't actually sat down to it as yet, but I'm pissed off because I'm hearing people really having a fun time with
Right.
it. And here's where they're having a fun time. Oh my God, it's Goonies. It's Goonies in space.
Right.
That is so. If this is the most Star Wars that has ever come out of Star Wars, then we have not progressed. And
No,
you
listen,
had a show.
I give up on Star Wars fans in that sense because they basically just
Yeah.
they just want shit from the 80s that they were children. That's it. They don't want
That is
when
a
it comes to
problem.
Star Wars, don't try nothing new. Right? That is the
So,
lesson you keep learning.
You
Don't
know,
try
this
anything new.
this is my problem, and this is why one of the reasons why I have it on this list so that I can rant. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I was very like from episode 5 going up to 8, the pacing moved up a great deal more. I wanted to see a little bit more of the story. You go and tease Plagueis in a cave. Like, yes, I would like more of this, please. And if the rumors are to be believed, the numbers for the Acolyte and the numbers for Skeleton Crew, the Acolyte had more numbers. # renew the Acolyte. So anyhow, that was my number 2 best of, and number 1. My number 1 television show for 2024 is My Adventures with Superman.
Nice.
And the thing
Okay.
works. The thing that works for me with My Adventures with Superman is like, this is Superman. It was one of the reasons why before I saw the trailer and started to, weep and be all that kind of person, when I heard that they were doing over a Superman movie, I was like, if this doesn't give me the kind of heart that I get from Superman and Lois, or it doesn't give me the feels that I get from My Adventures with Superman, then Fireburn. Because in both of those properties, even people like General Lane, you could understand what was his point and where he comes from. And hearing some of the showrunners, I think they were talking about like, Alex was just meant to be Alex, even though season 1 you looked at him and it's like, this is clearly Lex. But seeing how he progresses in season 2 and seeing like Amanda rise a little bit more and like Deathstroke and all, this is good television. This is not just a good animated series. This is good, well-written television. So My Adventures with Superman takes the number 1 spot in terms of television for 2024. I can't wait to see what happens in 2025.
Same here too.
Nice.
And lastly, CC, do you have any favorite TV shows or any favorite show, any TV shows caught your fancy this year?
I had a couple shows that I nothing finished, so nothing really to contribute. I mean, I did start. I'm not sure if any of you here are familiar with the mech anime Fang of the Sun Dougram, which I've been digging the absolute hell out of. That show's been great. I will give a shout out as far as things I watched, well, in this case, listened to and finished this year. But the narrative podcast, the Silt Verses, wrapped up with its final season this year, and that I think is probably one of my favorite experiences with a narrative podcast that I've had in a hot minute.
Okay.
Really great, kind of dark fantasy show set in like an alternate version of kind of the United States with in a polytheistic world with like corporate gods and things like that. And it follows these two traveling. It starts with these two traveling priests of a underground that worship an illegal god. So they're kind of a cult. And the show, again, we have 4 seasons on. Like the way it portrays all these like kind of. The best way I could describe it, I was geeking out with a friend about it, is kind of the politics of polytheism in a fantasy space, where you've got like some gods that are licensed by the state, and so their worship is encouraged, and you get other ones that are illegal because they're harder to control, and so there's all this and so their followers are underground, and there's conflict between different cults and everything. There's like struggles to create going through the process of creating new gods in some cases. Like, it's a fascinating show, and given that it's a podcast and they only have the audio space to play with, they do have they utilize the format really well. Great voice cast, everything else. So it's one of those shows where when it finished this year, I was almost a little sad, like that it was the end of it. But yeah, shout out to the Silt Verses.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks for putting me on to that. I've never taken in a narrative podcast. I listen to, audiobooks, of course, but never a narrative podcast. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, well, speaking of that, if you're doing online stuff, if it's anything, one online audiobook that I really was digging this year is The Sojourn by Daniel Orrit. This is pretty good. Strongly recommend it. Basically, it does sci-fi realism, largely hard sci-fi, but what this guy does really well, he has a real good penchant and skill for like allusions to real world history, mostly the Age of Sail, and he mixes the modern sci-fi too. So it really feels like a slightly more grounded, better explained version of Mass Effect. He does that really well with his thing. Okay. I think it beginning, but like it's a lot of he pulls a lot of not Mass Effect, not only Mass Effect, but a little bit of Firefly, a little mix up of The Expanse, right? It's that. He does that really well, and it's an audiobook. It's on Nebula, I think. Okay. Recommended. Strongly recommended. This dude is the real deal. Like, I really hope he got like a budget to make this stuff, because it looks great, and he have a bunch of decent voice actors, and he come through. Great world building. Really recommended. Really grounded space stuff. Yeah, so that I recommend if you're doing the online stuff. Yeah, one audiobook, The Sojourn.
Okay.
Great stuff. He's the former host, or the current host, I think. I can't remember. I think he's the former host of Space Doc, the YouTube channel. All right. Space Doc, which is do a lot of ship internet stuff and realism, how to explain away the bullshit, normal thing. He does a great job at that. So yeah, recommend it.
All right, well, fantastic recommendation.